Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Vicent, and today we're going to talk about why I bought an Aston Martin and everything that's, well, wrong with this Aston Martin, and it's quite a humorous list. So let's start off with the why, because it's probably the easiest thing to explain. In my opinion, Aston Martins are extremely underrated cars. They depreciate like rocks thrown in water. You can pick one of these up for less than you can a new Toyota Camry. And I can't find a single person on the planet that would want a Toyota Camry over an Aston Martin. Now this is a 2008 and we're talking a brand new Camry. So there's some things missing from this one from a technology perspective that one would have. And yet I still probably couldn't find one person that would rather drive that than drive this. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the driving aspect of this car. This is a 5.9 liter V12, and the reason why I emphasize 5.9 is because when we open the hood, or the bonnet for those of you in the UK, you'll realize that Aston Martin decided to round up and call it a 6.0 liter V12 when it's not a 6.0 liter V12. So as you can see again, 6.0 V12. I don't know why manufacturers do that. McLaren says the same thing. If you go to McLaren's website, it says a 4.0 liter V8, and when it's actually 3.8. It's blatant lies, is what it is. It's blatant lies. So one more thing to talk about when we're talking about this engine is that it's naturally aspirated. And one thing that we have become somewhat numb to is that delay or that lag on induction engines, whether that's a supercharger or a turbocharge. See, a naturally aspirated engine, that pedal feel, that throttle response is, well, instant. It's there the moment you touch it, and it's always there until you reach its peak RPM. Now, peak RPM on this is just a little over 6,000. And when we're talking max output, this V12 puts out 450 horsepower and 423 pound-feet of torque. Now, 450 horsepower may sound small in comparison to engines of today. However, again, that throttle feel, the agility of this car, the lightness of this car, although it's not a light car by any stretch of the imagination, it moves fairly well. 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. So 2008 Aston Martin, 4.6 0 to 60. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we've lost a little bit, but let's test those numbers, shall we? A tremendous amount of wheel slip. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Okay, let's see if we can get a better launch this time. 4.9. That's actually not bad. 13-year-old car. It's not bad. One more thing to note before we leave here, I would just like to thank Mick Moten for building this engine. Hand built, and they still put the little plaques on there. It's a cool touch. And like I said, the car feels very light for its setup. But it's not a light car, just under 2 tons. And in order to stop 2 tons, you gotta have some pretty meaty brakes. And this does. Slotted discs all the way around. Now these are not OEM Aston Martin rims. And we're gonna get to all the aftermarket stuff that we'll be removing, as well as the things that are wrong in just a moment. And while not hideous, we're gonna go ahead and label these rims as wrong. We'll be changing these out if you're interested in some sort of not super attractive aftermarket rims. I'll have a set for sale very shortly. So one of the more unique features to every Aston Martin model are their Swan Doors. And when I say Swan Doors, don't think scissor door, don't think like my McLaren that goes up, but think just slightly at an angle. The idea is that you can open the door fully and miss the curb on the street. Now, in order to accomplish this, they actually put gas struts here behind the fender wall that hold this door open. As you can see here, it's a little under maybe a 45-degree angle. Very cool looking and very practical when you park on the street. The only downside is these doors are not light. And when those gas struts go, as in they do periodically, it's a heavy door to stay open. It just closes on its own. Now this side, the gas strut's not that bad. It obviously can't hold the door open, but it's also not trying to kill you. On the driver's side, however, it's like a guillotine. If your legs are out, you may not be walking following that door attempting to chop them off. It wants to close and close rapidly. The gas shock on that side is completely shot. We'll be changing both of those out. Okay, so now you're asking yourself, Danny, we just talked about the not so attractive wheels and brakes. Why are we back down on the floor? Well, I've started discussing the things that are wrong with the car, and the Swan Doors are one of them. In order to replace the gas strut on those, you actually have to take the wheel off and the inner lining of the fender and kind of reach underneath the car and into this fender in order to take it off. One of the things that most people replace when they do that is the little side marker here behind my arm. Looks like this. The previous owner didn't want to do that, and you're probably asking why I'm holding a water bottle. Well, if I unscrew the water bottle, and I take the cap from the water bottle and place it on my car, yeah, that's a water bottle cap. The previous owner of this car couldn't spend the $20 necessary to replace the part with the correct one and instead put a water bottle cap on an Aston Martin. The light still works. Everything still functions accordingly. That is the laziest or the most genius repair I have ever seen in my entire life. So we'll be replacing these as well. Okay guys, we're going handheld for this. See what I mean? That gas strut is completely lost. So we're going handheld for the interior here because this is where the remainder of the issues with the car are. Now you're probably asking yourself, Danny, this is an Aston Martin, there has to be more issues than this. Surprisingly, no. I talked to many Aston Martin owners, specifically Aston Martin DB9 owners, and I went to a specialty mechanic here in Sacramento who services Aston Martins and DB9s all the time, and they used a term I thought I'd never hear when discussing an Aston Martin: bulletproof. So guys, something that you probably never think you'd hear about Aston Martin is the term bulletproof, and it kind of shocked me. I still had a PPI done on the car prior to purchase, and so all the little things I've shown you so far did come up on that, but that mechanic used the term a great engine as well. And at the end of the day, that's really why I bought the car. The mystique and look and visual aspect of this car is fantastic and is another reason, but that power plant is the main reason. As I've told you guys before, we're going to be modding this car quite a bit, and so that power plant, this car, the mods, it is going to be a fantastic daily driver. Yes, this is going to be my daily driver. I sold the Tesla and bought this to cruise around every single day. Now it has about 30,000 miles on it, so it hasn't been driven daily before, but it's about to. Okay, flaws on the inside. The back seat is part of that flawless area. We're not even going to go back there. I'm not even 100% sure anyone has ever sat back there. The leather is absolutely perfect. Passenger seat, the leather looks as though somebody had sat in it, but is not bad. This seat, however, the bolsters are completely gone. This is obviously what has been sat in over the years and just needs to be Probably not completely reupholstered, but definitely have the padding and side bolsters kind of redone. Similar to the water bottle cap on the outside, the previous owner, I think, wanted to modernize this interior, and rather than spending the money necessary to buy a bunch of carbon fiber bits, they just wrapped the interior with carbon fiber and put these silly stickers you can see here all throughout the car. So that's gonna have to come off. In fact, I'm gonna show you a few of them. So as you can see here, this is just a sticker. It's nothing more than, well, if I can get it off. See, this here is nothing more than a sticker. It doesn't belong there. There's no part of this that is OEM Aston Martin. And when we start coming across here, at first glance, you would think this is all carbon fiber until you start to notice the wrinkles here. Now these wrinkles are, well, a wrap. This is wrap, wrap, wrap. And my hunch is that there's a lot of scratches or even potentially a cracked ski slope under there. That's what this is called, the ski slope. It is traditionally made of wood, the same wood we have on the paneling there and there. So I have a feeling this is cracked. Now we're going to have a couple of options when we replace that. We can replace it with another wood piece, or we can place it with real carbon fiber. I haven't made my decision, and if you have an inclination one way or another, drop it down in the comments below and tell me real carbon fiber or back to the original wood. And you can see they did the same thing down here. This is also available in real carbon fiber. If we go back a touch more, you can start to see some of the scratching that I am fearful is going to be throughout. I already removed the wrap from here just to take a look, and you can see some of it. I have a feeling this is going to be scratched up quite a bit. I don't know until I take this off. So guys, as promised, I would tell you all the ins and outs on the car, why I bought it and what's wrong. And as you can see, there's not much wrong with the car. Again, mechanically, it seems to be in great shape. I'm sure over the next 6 months or year, some things may go wrong, and obviously you'll be along for the ride. The things that are wrong now, however, are all cosmetic and easily remedied. We're going to take care of that over the next video or so. The other thing that I mentioned previously is that we are going to change that exhaust and make it sound a whole heck of a lot better. And right now, stuck in customs, well, is that exhaust. So on the next video, we will be installing that exhaust, and hopefully by then I will have some of the repairs done on this car already. So guys, along the same lines as the carbon fiber interior, I want your input on additional mods to do here. I don't want to go crazy. This is my daily driver, so I'm not looking at forced induction, no turbochargers or superchargers underneath, but there are a few more things we can do to increase power. We can also do some suspension mods, maybe some brake mods, and maybe a few aero mods along the way. I'm not sure how far we're going to take this car just yet, because I do have some plans for the McLaren as well. Anyway guys, in the next video, exhaust and repairs, and we'll talk about the next mod after that. If you like today's video, please thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.